As quarterback disaster strikes week number 3, really week number 2, and affecting week number 3, we've got a lot of quarterbacks to discuss. This just coming in right now, literally like 34 seconds ago. Dan Quinn, here's what we know on JD5. He did have an MRI, and he's already begun his return to play process with us. He truly is day to day. What does that mean for Sunday? I can't tell you that now. I'll share more when we get to Wednesday. But in a return to play, he and all of the guys have to hit all of the markers. So does sound a little more optimistic that JD5 can play versus that he doesn't play if I had to guess right now, but that certainly can change. Just like it was kind of a not a big deal. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport both reporting that this was likely not serious, and then all of a sudden it became a questionable thing for week number 3. So things can turn really quickly, but as of that statement right now from Dan Quinn, right now, that just got reported, JD5, in my opinion, leaning a little bit more toward playing than not playing, but more to come on that. JJ McCarthy, on the other hand, out 2 to 4 weeks potentially. Joe Burrow out maybe the year, but really 3 months, you could say. Justin Fields in the concussion protocol per his head coach, and Brock Purdy still in that 2 to 5 game window, already 1 game out of the way. So essentially, potentially 1 to 4 game window for Brock Purdy. What does this mean for Carson Wentz and Justin Jefferson? What's it mean for Jameis Winston, who may be getting a call of sorts, Kirk Cousins, or are the teams in need of quarterbacks not going to make those kind of moves because their quarterbacks aren't out the year, like maybe Joe Burrow is, and Browning is already there in Cincinnati, and they like him, and he's definitely as good as anybody they could go get. So tough to say if any quarterback moves are made. If there's one coach that should be bringing that phone up to his ear and making a phone call and saying, hey, bring Winston over here, it should be Liam Cohen, who doesn't really have a quarterback right now in T. Law, and there's a lot at stake for him. Hopefully he understands what time it is, and he at least goes and gets a backup plan for T. Law before some other team scoops up one of the available options. The Fantasy Football Show Quarterback Turmoil Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Well, so as I mentioned, T-Law likely to disappoint us moving forward, I think, continuously. I have no hope for him right now, but I think Liam Cohen's got to get on the phone and figure out what a backup plan is. I mean, Jameis Winston or Shedeur, get Shedeur paired back up with Travis Hunter. That would be phenomenal for Travis Hunter. BTJ still a buy low. I don't care what anybody says. This guy was the number 4 wide receiver last year in fantasy football. I understand there's a problem. I understand right now he's not set up properly to be even a top 10 wide receiver at the rate they're going in Jacksonville, but he's still a buy low, especially given the fact that you're not buying him anywhere near what you drafted him or would have drafted him for. So you got to understand the context. No one's saying, oh, he'll be okay. Take him at top 12 overall value, but he's a fantastic go-get player. This is a tough week in general. I know a lot of people are hurting right now in fantasy football, but look at the board. Garrett Wilson tied to Fields, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown tied to Burrow, Pearsall, a lot of players tied to Purdy, and then Kittle's out. McCarthy, JJ, what does Justin Jefferson do? Carson Wentz, is Carson Wentz an upgrade? Maybe Carson Wentz is better for Justin Jefferson than JJ McCarthy is. I mean, JJ McCarthy, we saw one good quarter of JJ McCarthy. That's it. And then we walk into week 2, definitely not feeling the JJ McCarthy vibes. I'm just not. I think Carson Wentz could be better for him. I think they should trade for Jameis Winston, but that's me. I think a lot of these teams should trade for Jameis Winston. Aaron Jones also out for this week 3. Jordan Mason to the moon potentially. Jordan Mason at least
to the moon,
to the space station. His value is definitely up. But Aaron Jones, we knew Aaron Jones would get hurt. It was a matter of time. The guy's an old man, and it's Jordan Mason season. Justin Jefferson, buy low, sure, but do you expect the value you could have had they prepared for properly the quarterback room for 2025? I don't know that you can just expect him to be a top 4 wide receiver. But if you can buy Justin Jefferson, the only JJ, if you could buy him at like outside the top 5 wide receiver value, no one's saying you're getting him outside the top 10, but maybe someone's valuing him like wide receiver 7, wide receiver 6, whatever. That's a good value. That's good buy low entry point type stuff right there. That's how leagues are won. Could JJ still produce? Yeah, but like Jamar Chase, he's going to probably produce a little bit lesser. No one's saying Jamar Chase is dropping out the top 5 or 6 wide receiver ranks, but he certainly is not 1 anymore. He certainly is now a debate for people when they're like Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jamar Chase with no Joe Burrow. Those things are now in play, and they weren't in play. They weren't even close to in play with Joe Burrow under center. That's what Joe Burrow does for these players. And I don't know that I could draft Joe Burrow anymore. I love Joe Burrow. One of my favorite players. I love Joe Burrow. Everybody loves Joe Burrow. But Joey B is Joey Glass right now. And I just don't know if I can draft him with confidence moving forward. Bijan at 1. Smitty does look crazy now. Well, it shouldn't have looked crazy before. Clearly the number 1 overall player in fantasy. That one was good. Jamar Chase, as much as I loved him, it just didn't feel like the one. Bijan did. And he is Bijan again, by the way. He's Bijan again. He said he wants to be called Bijan, not Bijan. Good news today. That was announced during the game last night that Bijan Robinson wants to be called Bijan. Thank goodness we got Bijan back, because that was driving me crazy. Driving me absolutely crazy. Let's see here. If I had to say here, based on all of this, most of the panic is going to be around JJ right now. Jamar Chase, I don't think people are panicking as much about Chase as they are JJ, because Browning has been proven to be pretty good. No one's saying Browning's as good as Burrow. No one's saying Jamar Chase is the number 1 overall wide receiver. No one's saying that. But JJ's a true concern and panic point, and I think people will be getting rid of JJ cheaply, and they should be holding versus getting rid of him cheaply. So we're going to strike. I think he's a great buy low. McCarthy is. I just hope that Wentz does something significant enough that they just hold McCarthy back. I don't think McCarthy's good for JJ. I don't think McCarthy's good for the Vikings. I don't know what they're going to do. This is maybe a throwaway season for the Vikings. Let's see what they do with Wentz. Let's see what they do with Mason. Just putting Mason in there and running the damn ball. I don't know what it's going to look like. I just know that you're either holding Justin Jefferson or you're buying him low. There really is no in between. As far as Garrett Wilson goes, look, Fields and Garrett Wilson were phenomenal in week 1. They weren't in week 2. And Fields got concussed. I mean, what do you want from him? And maybe he doesn't play week 3. Maybe he does. We'll find out how quickly he passes through the protocol. But keep in mind that Garrett Wilson was a 100-yard receiver and a touchdown in week 1, and only 1 week has passed since. So those running away from Garrett Wilson might be making a grave mistake. He's still a potential top 10 wide receiver on the year. Not panicking on Garrett Wilson. I would maybe buy him low if the price was right. As far as T. Higgins, I don't know that T. Higgins is somebody that I want to own. I'm not saying I sell him for pennies on the dollar, but if you could trade T and a player to go get BTJ on the low, I'd go do that. Or try and trade T. Higgins straight up for BTJ. BTJ is being so madly disrespected right now. Go trade T. Higgins for Trevion Henderson. Go get Hendy for T. Higgins if you got T. Higgins. Do something like that. You got Juwan Jennings, who had a nice touchdown reception. Trade him and something and go get Hendy. Trade him and something and go get BTJ. BTJ's being madly disrespected. And I'm here to take a stand on BTJ. I'm sorry. This guy was number 4 last year. He's an elite talent. I don't like his situation at all either. I don't. But it doesn't mean that he's not going to find a way, like so many other wide receivers with bad quarterback play or suspect quarterback play or spotty quarterback play. You think that this guy won't be a good buy low walking into week number 3? These guys are all still buy lows. You can get mad at Harvey all you want. He's free. You can get mad at Hendy all you want. He will rise eventually. Brian Thomas Jr., London, you can get mad at them all you want. They're still buy lows. And I'm buying BTJ consistently. You can get mad at them all you want. Those are still very good buy lows. Keep in mind and understand the concept of buying low. He also was dealing with the wrist injury, according to Liam Cohen, which I believe I have that report right here. Liam Cohen said that he believes Brian Thomas Jr. entered the game. He believes it's weird, you know. He entered with the wrist injury, but I think what he's saying is he believes that that's the reason why he may have been affected by that wrist injury. But I'm buying BTJ low. No one's buying him at his 12 or 13 overall value. The guy was number 4 in fantasy football wide receiver scoring last year. Number 4. Are we forgetting that? No one's saying he's making up for, you know, the bad play for those that drafted him at 12. But the people that are going to trade for him on the cheap are gonna make out like bandits, I think, on that one. Here's the list of injuries and players that are injured. Let me see if I can find where I put that. I think it was right here. No, that's from Dan Quinn. Again, Dan Quinn saying that potentially, Jaden Daniels might still have a chance to play this week, but essentially is what his words were. QB injuries are piling up before week 2. McCarthy, the ankle, out 2 to 4 weeks. Jaden Daniels' knee, questionable, still could play. Going through the process right now, according to his head coach, to try and get on the field. Justin Fields' concussion, likely to miss 1 week, but you never know. Some players have rolled through the protocol quickly. Joe Burrow out for 3 months, maybe the season. Brock Purdy out for another 1 to 4 weeks. So just devastation at the QB position. Just QB positions just ravaged. Let me hit these supers real quickly. Smitty, JSN or Jamar Chase rest of season. I still can't. I love JSN, love him, but I'm still taking Jamar Chase over JSN. But I understand what you're thinking. I understand where you're coming from. BTJ and Henderson. Nico for BTJ and Henderson. I would wait till this game and see what Nico looks like. If Nico goes out and has a monster game, then you have your answer. You play with the high explosive, well producing player. But I think you want to see what he does. If he was to go out there and CJ Stroud looks awful, and the offensive, we got to see what's what this week. So get him to offer the trade so you can hover over your finger over it. But if Nico goes nuts, you just can't trade Nico at this point in time. But if Nico drops a dud, then you have yourself a situation to consider. But I think Nico is probably the answer. Fields or Penix Jr. rest of season. Probably Penix Jr. because he's out there right now. But, I mean, this could go either way, my boy. They're pretty close in rank. I think situationally each week you got to look at it differently. I have Stroud, A-Rod, Penix in a super flex. Pick up Browning. I definitely would. Browning's going to be one of the hotter pickups of the week from the super flex perspective for sure. And even in one QB where people are ravaged with injuries. Offer ETN for Hendy or Harvey. Why would you trade ETN who's balling out and is in starter position? Hendy and Harvey are in waiting. No one's saying they can't rise up and be monsters. But why would you trade a guy that is a top 10 running back that's in a starter position? That doesn't even make sense, Kerry. But I'm glad you asked me the question so we can stop you from doing it. ETN is a top 10 running back right now. Swift for Trevion Henderson. I would take Henderson. I'd take the gamble on Henderson. Absolutely. Henderson will rise up. Been offered JJ and Mason for my JT. I'm taking JT at this moment in time. JT looks fantastic. Danny Dimes is playing out of his mind right now. I don't know if that continues, but you can't make that trade. You need to get a lot more if you were to maybe trade him. I have Penix, Murray, Achane, JT, Connor, Amon-Ra, any recommendations, I'm probably going to say right now, my boy, you're probably holding strong and waiting for Rice's return. As long as you think you're going to have 3 wins, I imagine you're pretty close to a 2-0 or at least a 1-1 start. Judkins on the rise. Let it ride for now, my boy. That team's not bad. That team is pretty good. Judkins rising up will be fantastic. If you needed like a wide receiver, you could explore banking on Fannin and trading Kraft for a wide receiver. And I'm talking like an undervalued monster or something. And there are those situations around. I mean, BTJ and Fannin and the Kraft. For anybody's not going to consider BTJ over Kraft in your situation, I think it's laughable to not consider that BTJ could be what BTJ once was. You know, you're not buying him at that expectation. You're buying him so much cheaper.
Alert.
Thank you for the $20 hauler. Appreciate you dropping the wattage, my boy. Have Josh Allen, Gibbs, Jacobs, Kamara. Fannin was offered Trevion Henderson for Kamara. Counter with Jacobs and Kamara for Bijan and Trey. Yes, like you put that in front of me, I'm saying do that, but he's not going to take that. Who's going to trade Bijan right now? Bijan. We're back to Bijan, thank God. Who's going to trade Bijan right now? Nobody. So I don't think you're going to get that. Now, Kamara, Trevion Henderson, you can get more. I like the idea long-term. You can get more, though. Your team looks fantastic. I like this squad a lot. I'm not worried or scared or moving anything unnecessarily, but Judkins and Tet could be moved potentially. You know, trading Tet McMillan for BTJ right now is not a bad idea if you want to take a little bit of a gamble on BTJ. I mean, people are freaking out after 2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks have occurred. 2 weeks. Even though I don't have faith in T-Law at all, we're still only 2 weeks in. You know, we've seen wide receivers like BTJ thrive with lesser quarterbacks than even T-Law. Even the way T-Law is playing. So let's relax a little bit on the BTJ front. Let's take advantage of it while we can. Trade Josh Allen, Ladd, and JMO for JD5 and Lamb. I'm going to say right now with the injury, I don't know that this is a smart move. It could be smart, but I would say right now you're probably leaning toward the trio just because without JD5, you're going to score less, you know, and what if he missed a couple weeks? It's a gamble. I don't mind either side. Honestly, I could get behind either side, but at the same time, the Josh Allen side is safer. Sharp's huge disappointment this week. Given your thoughts. I know you were high on him. I mean, what can you say? He got 31 snaps the week prior, and Walker got 21. Predicting how they're going to rotate this is I think for anybody to assume that Walker for sure is going to get all the work now is going to make the same mistake people did walking into week 2 about Charbonnet. But I do think Walker has the edge. If you had both of them, you'd want to start Walker. But Sharp still has tremendous upside. That's the fickle part of this fantasy football game. 1 week reactions. People are going to act like Charbonnet's trash now. But that's not the case. Charbonnet is still an absolute top 5 league winner at the position if he gets in there. Right now, he's not in there. No one can control that. But don't let 1 week, 2 weeks, even half a season change your mind when you know something is probably true. And that something is that Charbonnet is still a league winner. No doubt about it. But right now, he's not somebody that you're like putting in as a starter with confidence. Maybe a flex in an injury-riddled situation. 12-team PPR, send Saquon and JSN for Jamar, Rome, and Kyron. I would take... damn, man, that is a tough one. Rome is such an addition here. I'd probably take the Jamar, Rome, and Kyron. I think there's just too much value there. But it does make you think because Jamar Chase right now is not the exact same Jamar Chase that you want to read off when you say his name. Panic Peter here, 0-2, 8-man, Lamar, Bijan, Jacobs, Harvey, Hendy, JCM, Sharps, BTJ, Nico. Stay the course, bro. Your team is really good. Ibuka, Nico, and BTJ should remain in your lineup right now. Pickens, obviously, if you can start another flex, that's awesome because I want to get him in there. Pickens is fantastic. Lamar, unbelievable. Bijan, Jacobs, you're fine. You got players waiting in the wings. Trust the process. Maybe consolidate. 8-man leagues, everybody's good. So if you can at some point, if let's say you could move JCM and let's call it BTJ up one slight wide receiver ranking or two, it's worth it to consolidate because everyone's stacked to the rafters, bro. So, you almost have to make some of those consolidated moves in order to get ahead in an 8-man league because everyone's going to be stacked, everybody. What are the difference makers? Top 5 quarterback. You have Lamar, so you're fine and covered there. What's a difference maker? Having that number 1 running back. You got Bijan. That's huge. Can you upgrade Jacobs slightly into a Gibbs using, let's say, BTJ or something because someone's willing to buy? Then, yeah, do that because then you can pull from your bench. You can pull Pickens up into the lineup. Tyler Warren's a fantastic wide receiver, so I love that. We drop in Njoku in a 12-man league. It depends. It's certainly case by case. You got Fannin already. I'm not necessarily holding Njoku. So I'm not afraid of making moves like that, especially if you have the ability to. Flacco and Njoku need to be traded for too, says Mr. TD. Derrick Henry was trash yesterday. Don't get overreactive, Dwayne. I get he didn't deliver, but this is another buy low player. And look, you might say Derrick Henry's not someone's going to sell, but I think they will. There are all kinds of fantasy football owners out there that look at what we're doing 2 weeks in, and we've got massive panic all over the place. So there's certainly buy low opportunities. Dynasty PPR, I get BTJ for Adunze is on the table. Honestly, Adunze's safer. Adunze is just in a great spot where doesn't matter if Caleb's his quarterback, doesn't matter that the Bears are just going to be up and down all year long, mostly down. The game script for Adunze is always going to be calling for third and fourth quarter throwing. So Adunze is safer. There's no doubt about it. Now, does BTJ have a little more upside and appeal? Yeah, he was number 4 last year and we're 2 weeks in. So you want to take that gamble? I'm fine with it. But I do want to tell you Adunze probably is safer. But we're 2 weeks in. We're 2 weeks in and nobody would have said that 2 weeks ago. Sometimes you know enough 2 weeks in to make a decision and go, well, this isn't what we thought it was. True. We might be 3-4 weeks in until somebody finally accepts, okay, Adunze is better than BTJ. Like, that can happen, bro. That certainly is on the table. But I think you could go either way. So, Adunze getting all this garbage production in the third and fourth quarter, probably going to continue. So I would say Adunze by a hair in terms of trust factor, consistency. But Caleb just throws a lot. Doesn't mean he's good, but he throws a lot. The Bears aren't good, but they throw a lot. Liam Cohen's offense is electric at times, but he has no quarterback, and that's on him. He's got to figure that out. He can't just keep running T-Law out there if T-Law doesn't produce. Marvin Rice for BTJ, I'd take BTJ because you get him now, and I think it gets worked out. But 4 weeks from now, I'd rather have Rice. So it just depends on what you need right now. Can you weather through waiting on Rice? If so, then I'd say wait on Rice. But if you need wins, not saying that BTJ feels like he's going to be the person to give you the W's right now, but that could change. It depends on your situation. Trade Jamar and Kenneth Walker for Gibbs and Flowers. Give me Gibbs and Flowers. Gibbs to me is ranked higher than Jamar Chase right now, and I think Flowers and Walker are pretty close when you really break it all down. And the opportunities that Flowers is going to have going forward. I like Flowers. Flowers is a pretty good buy low. I think Lamar having 4 touchdown passes and Flowers not having a single one puts Flowers on the buy low list. In fact, let's go over here and just say, I think Flowers is a nice little addition here on this list potentially, just because people are very reactive to that. Why wasn't Flowers given any of the production? I like Flowers right now. I think Flowers is a great buy low. Clearly being talked about. I got a lot of questions about Flowers over the last 24, 48 hours, and that's an indication that people are worried about him because he didn't have any of the touchdowns. I have Daniels, Achane, Hall, Chase, Evans, Hawkinson, Devontae Smith, Adunze. What do you think I should do? 2-0. Well, 2-0, you're doing good, obviously. Should I trade Chase for Puka? I don't mind that. I think that's fair. I think Jamar Chase is in a questionable situation that should be Puka Nacua level good, but Puka Nacua in redraft is probably as good and safer than Jamar Chase. Not saying Jamar Chase can't be better, but Puka's pretty safe, bro. I would say that's probably not the worst trade in the world. I would say that's not bad. Chat, vote on that one. I mean, I'd love to hear what people think on that. Are we selling high on Javonte right now or holding? Depends on what you can get. I think it's definitely smart to entertain the sell high Javonte route, but it's also smart to hold him. He's a running back 2 right now. So if you're not getting I'm sorry, did I say Jamar Chase? Javonte. If you're not getting Javonte Williams high-end running back 2 value, then you're holding him. If you can trade him and somebody to get into a running back 1, it makes sense. But it has to be a nice sell. If you're going up into, let's say you're trading Javonte and you're getting, you're getting into a Kyron Williams by just adding something small, I'd take that gamble, something like that. But if you're, or Chase Brown, people are doubting Chase Brown like crazy, which is crazy. Dynasty PPR, get BTJ for Doomsday. It's on the table again. It's for redraft. It's hard to say that a Doomsday isn't safer. From Dynasty, I don't know. I still think BTJ is better from a Dynasty perspective, but that's up to you. Are we selling high on Javonte? I just answered that one. Thank you very much for the super chat. Need your Grace down by 13 and have Egbuka left. I think you'll be okay, but this is why you play. Like, if anybody's freaking out, like, let me just tell you something, a little pep talk, okay? Because Leak, if you're upset and this is driving you nuts, this is why you played. This is why one day a buddy said, "Hey, have you heard about the game of fantasy football? You draft a player and you get excited for who wins at the final 11th hour." And so you don't need anybody you don't need anybody's grace, Leak. You just need the excitement and rush that this gives you. This is why you decided to play in the beginning. Everybody's I don't know if it's millennials or what generation it is that infected this way of thinking to where we want to be up by 150 points walking into Monday night, or we don't want to play anymore. I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm down 13 and I've got a guy left. I'm done with this. I'm not playing fantasy anymore. Those are quitters. Those are people that are going to quit after 2 weeks. People that are going to quit after a bad season. You have a bad season, so what? You're going to quit over it. You're never going to hang in this thing anyway. But the people that are like, I'm down 13 points and I have one player left. Even if you're down 10 and you got your kicker, this is why you played. This is why you decided to play this game of fantasy football. So pull up your pants, buckle your buckle belt, whatever, roll your sleeves up and get ready. Get ready for a game. This is why you're playing. You got Egbuka anyway. Go have at it. I mean, really. Michael, trade Stevenson. Seclan says I'm funny. I'm not trying to be funny, Seclan. I'm trying to give people a reality check, a pep talk. You know what I'm saying, Seclan? I know I'm funny sometimes, Seclan. I'm not trying to be funny right now. I am a little bit perturbed by how people want to be up 150 or they don't want to play anymore. I want to quit. It's 2 weeks in. I'm going to quit. Like, aren't we tougher than that? Aren't we a tougher people than that? Even if you had a bad year, aren't we tougher than that? Trade Stevenson for Pickens, and your year's not even over yet. Trade Stevenson for Pickens. Pickens by a mile. I love Pickens. Pickens is fantastic, bro. 12-team Mahomes, Saquon. Moves. Bro, we gotta let the dust settle before we can go too much into the moves. But I'd say, looking at this squad in general, I really think that you're not trading Saquon. You're not trading Bucky. You got to let Bucky play. Like, it's hard to give advice when your players are still even playing. Rice, you're waiting for Rice to come back. The only thing I'd tell you is you sell high on Wandell with Rice to get out of the waiting game on Rice. Do you trade Rice for BTJ straight up to get points right now? Mark, this is a common recommendation I'm going to have for people that can't wait on Rice. It's not that in 4 weeks, will I rather have Rice than BTJ? Yes, but if you're going to be 0-5 or 0-6 or 1-5, then it doesn't matter what Rice does when he comes back. 12-man Superflex, I lost Burrow. I have Penix Jr. and Russ. Should I do a full load drop on Browning? I wouldn't say a full load drop on a 1 QB on Browning. I'm still okay with Penix Jr. I don't mind you going after him. Look at the significantly high bids that people put on a player in his realm and then maybe drop that. But full load drop, no. First year in the league, I don't know. These guys usually bid. Well, you do have a couple weeks of bids, bro. So you can definitely look historically. What is the highest bid somebody's bid on somebody? Has somebody done a full load drop? And I don't know in a 1 QB that Browning is deserving of a full load drop, is what I'm trying to tell you. I don't think in a 1 QB. If it was Superflex, sure. Superflex Browning. Just got offered Jamar Chase and Kyler for Amon-Ra and May. This is the same thing as the Puka example. In redraft, without Joe Burrow, is Jamar Chase now equal to Puka and Amon-Ra? Or below? That is definitely a debate. And would I rather have May over Kyler? Probably. So I guess Amon-Ra and May to me. But I don't know. Also, are you panicking on Jettas? Of course. I think everybody should be panicking on Jettas. But to what degree? It depends on the case-by-case question. No one should be getting rid of him for pennies on the dollar. Nobody should be treating him as the last wide receiver one or anything like that. Should I trade Bucky Ibuka for Jettas and Hampton? I'd rather have... Man, let's see what Buka does tonight. I don't want to answer this until we get a fair dose of both players playing 2 games. So if you could get someone to offer this to you and then hover your finger over the button, and let's say Bucky and Buka both don't play well, I'm not saying you make a judgment on that, but that will help you say, okay, this already even trade now makes me feel okay going Jettas and Hampton and taking the risk. But if Bucky and Buka ball out, you want to be the one that traded them right before the game. So have them offer, hold your finger over the button, and understand that you're 2-0 and you're doing good things. Sometimes when you're 2-0, just sit tight, bro. You know, you start getting too trigger happy to do a trade when you've got a team that's been balling. What are your thoughts on Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones injury? Love both of them. I mean, put Mason out there as a flex play, guarantee, amount of production that is going to be pretty solid for that flex spot. JSN for Hendy and BTJ. I'd take BTJ and Hendy if I'm not 2-0, winning, balling out, can't use one of these guys anyway, and you're just compiling depth. I'd rather just keep JSN who's balling. But if you need this move, if you need something, if you're going to need running backs downstream, it's a trade that it makes sense. There's 2 sides to this. There's no for sure anything. It just depends on the vibe of your team. Browning question was Superflex. Then, yeah, I would say full load drop on Browning and Superflex. Any starting quarterback is kind of worth a full load drop. Just be prepared that if you don't know them, they might not be doing that and they can laugh at you, but at least you'll have your quarterback. Drake, Achane, and Fannin for Bijan and Debo. I take Bijan and, I take Bijan and Debo. Bijan is just, he's the guy, the man, the myth, the legend. He's the guy. Love that. Just said that because I'm optimistic, but I would also like to hear your thoughts. Down 63, I have Stroud, Genti, and Igbuka. I think you're going to take this with that, but Stroud worries me. I'm not going to lie. I don't like Stroud as a starting quarterback, but I think you should be able to pull this off. Mono, appreciate you. Probably will be 0-2, half PPR. Got Nix, Genti, Walker, Neighbors, JSN, Sutton, Fannin, Nico, Evans moves. We're sitting tight or turning wide receiver into running back. I think with Genti and Walker's pretty good right now. Would I entertain trading Walker on the high just because it's still a volatile? Yeah, I would. Unless you got Sharps, it's pretty safe with both, I suppose. But I'm still looking to go get Chase Brown, to get Kyron. Depends what Bucky does. Right now you can get Bucky, but I don't know that you will be able to after this week. I think those are good players to potentially go get. Would I trade JSN or Nico? Probably not. Would I trade Sutton and Walker together for one running back like Bucky? If Genti, you got Genti. Yeah, Chase Brown and Bucky are the 2 potential players to go get right now. Would I trade? Yeah, I think I'm sitting back. Other than that, I'm sitting back. Knicks looked really good. I think your team's in pretty good positioning, my boy. Megatron, appreciate you. What's Buka ticket? Who to give up, for example? I don't know what in the hell you're trying to say here. What's his value? I would say right now, let's let him play the second game. I think we're starting to jump too far ahead when everybody's played but two games, but these 4 teams, let's let it play out. But I would say right now he's on the verge of a wide receiver 1-2 in terms of value. And I'm not giving him up as a wide receiver 2. I just rather hold him and see what's what. So I think you just got to wait and see how it plays out. B-Man, appreciate your loss. Burrow waiting on Rice. 0-2. Moves. Starters. Dak, Lamb, London, Keenan, Hampton, Monty, Kraft, Flex, Jennings, Bench, Tootin, Sampson, A.O. Manor, likely Rice. You're waiting on Rice. London and Lamb. Don't run away from that. Let's see here. Burrow waiting on Rice. 0-2. Dak's fine. Dak, Lamb, London. London will be fine. I'm not saying I don't entertain a trade, but London will be fine. If this is me, I'm just being honest. You need something at the running back spot. Hampton and Monty, it's okay, but it might not cut it. I think with the player I'm trading, because you have likely coming back, and I don't know what you can pick up on waivers. I bet you Fanning gets dropped in a lot of leagues. Pick him up. I would trade Kraft and Monty for one Chase Brown for a player. If Genty goes out and has a mediocre day, I'm trading for Genty. Monty straight up for Hendy, and you wait on Hendy. Kraft can get you something, bro. Kraft can get you an RB. There are a lot of people that love that Kraft value right now. So I think B-Men, I'm going to head down that direction the best that I can. Someone offered me BTJ for Adunze. We just talked about that. So rewind to the Adunze question where I went in tremendous detail about this exact situation and how redraft, it's debatable. It's certainly debatable. Kraft balling, yes, he is, and people will pay for Kraft right now. That's why if you have him and you need a move, you got to take advantage of it. You got to take advantage of the value. The value's there. Not saying it won't continue, but the value's there to go get an RB right now. And there's buy low opportunities that might not be available coming out of week 3 that are available right now. Hunter for Henderson. I'd rather have Henderson. I'm waiting on Henderson's going to rise at some point. We're 2 weeks in. Chase Brown looked like a piece of garbage. Chase Brown looked like a piece of garbage coming out of week 3 of 2024. So Hendy, just be patient with him and scoop him up where people aren't patient. I'm not saying that he's going to ball out week 3 or 4. I don't know. The reports that there were the 3 holding calls. I know there were 2 on Henderson is why they may have removed him from the lineup. But this is a player they invested highly in, and he's a highlight reel. You think he's not getting out there at some point? Chase Brown was a piece of garbage coming out of weeks 1, 2, and 3 last year. Nobody wanted him. He was trash. What a bad call. Can't believe it. Jahmyr Gibbs, what a waste of a pick his rookie year in weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did nothing. And then was one of the best running backs. He was number 2 in the league the rest of the way. So we have to be very, very careful not to overreact in this game we play fantasy football after 2 weeks of action. Got offered Chase, Igbuka, Walker for Amon-Ra, London, Kamara. This is pretty even, bro. Amon-Ra over or equal to Chase right now. London, Igbuka. I'd rather have Buka, Walker, Kamara. I'd probably rather have Walker. It's give and a take, man. It's pretty dead even, straight down the board, Juan. Chat, vote on which side you want, but Juan, you can't get closer than that. We're like splitting hairs. Trade Jamar Chase and Hubbard for CD and Brees. I'd rather have CD and Brees Hall by quite a bit. Rob, that is a good move on that side. Fields for Tootin. I'm fine with Tootin right now. You have JD5. It's concerning. Make sure you back yourself up, but Fields won't even help you with that anyway. So, yeah, I'd take Tootin. Tootin's got league-winning potential. Would you do Alvin Kamara for Brees and Marvin? Yes, I'd trade Alvin Kamara for Brees Hall. So you give me Marvin Harrison Jr., who we're disappointed in, sure, but give it to me for free, sure. Absolutely. Lamb and Brees. Yeah. Easy, bro. PPR, try to go Jacobs and JCM for Genty. Yes, I would do that before kickoff. You run the risk of Genty dropping nothing. You could get more in the deal at the end of the day in hindsight, but I'm going to take that gamble because you could go the other way. The gamble's the other way as well. or BTJ and JCM for Jefferson. I'd rather have Jefferson. I'm still trying to target BTJ. But if you have BTJ, then I just hold him versus get rid of him, honestly. And other players to buy low, Flowers. We said Flowers is a great buy low, but not in a big deal like this. But Genty, I would get Genty before the game kicks off. I think there's a real chance that his value goes up. Penix for McCarthy. I take Penix. McCarthy is not, he's not it, guys. Sorry to say. I hate to say that with Sick Nasty in the building. He's my boy. I'd love to know if Sick Nasty still has faith in him. And I respect it if he does. I'd love to hear the take. I'm not mad at the take. I don't think he's ridiculous. I think the jury's still out. But I think we have one good quarter out of 8 now. We have 7 bad quarters and 1 good quarter for JJ McCarthy. And I know he played injured, and I know his offensive line was banged up. There's a lot to consider. That's why I'm not saying it's irrational to like JJ McCarthy still, but I just can't buy into it. I just don't think he's good for Justin Jefferson. Offer Kraft for BTJ. I'd rather have BTJ. I know that that's not the most popular take, and that's fine, but we're 2 weeks into football, and we're talking about last year's number 4 wide receiver that, yes, has a problematic situation at quarterback, but that's why you're buying him low. My going and getting him for Kraft is not valuing him as a top 4 wide receiver, so we have to understand the difference there when we're talking about that. 12-man PPR, Allen, Jamar, BTJ, Monty, K9, Judkins. A lot of value here. A lot of value that's going to rise. I can trade Ladd and K9 for Keon. Ladd. I can trade for Ladd, K9, Keon. I need a running back, but I think trade is too good. I don't know what your trade is. You said I can trade for Ladd / K9 Keon. That you're not writing it in English, Christian. The way you guys use slashes is crazy to me. I can trade Ladd. I assume the slash is 4, even though it's and or for and but thereof. I mean, I K9 and Keon for Ladd. I take Ladd in a heartbeat if that's what you're trying to say. Yes, take Ladd in a heartbeat. Smash it if that's what you're trying to say. $20 hauler from BBQ coming in here strong with the wattage.
Super chat alert.
BBQ says it's week 2 of 17 journey. If you're looking for predictability, invest in CDs or CD Lamb. The waiver show was a great blueprint for what to follow. Stop panicking. Some of these players take time to hit their stride. Thank you, BBQ, for dropping the super chat, $20 wattage. And he's right. Tommy says, hi, Smitty, down by 10. Genty plus 1 flex of either Hampton or Buka. Hampton's safer. Ibuka's higher risk, higher reward. Not that much, though, but because this is non-PPR, Hampton is safer. But Buka is higher risk, higher reward, but not a lot of risk. It's just the non-PPR part. But he has Ladd, Fairbairn. Gut says Buka. Go with your gut. It's literally, you're going to be so upset at yourself if you don't go with your gut. Your gut is saying Buka. I'm wavering. The chat probably in non-PPR is wavering a little bit as well. If it were full PPR, it'd be Buka for sure. But in non-PPR, it's close. And you're wavering. You're not wavering. Your gut says something. So go with your gut. It's extremely close, as Devlin's saying, need extreme help per usual in his capital letters. Which defense do I pick up for week 3? Also, which QB do you pick up because JD5 is injured? Please help. Depends on what quarterback's available. Brown, I need to know the quarterbacks that are available, James. The waiver wire rankings are right here. If this helps you with the quarterbacks that might be available, that's my ranking right there. If Love's there, obviously Love. If May's there, obviously May. Danny Dimes and Penix, kind of close. Probably Danny Dimes, I suppose, right now. So that would be the ranking. And then what is the other question? Defense do you pick up for week 3? James, I appreciate your $5, but I need to know what defenses are available. I can't possibly help you with this question without names. I have no idea what defenses are available. And nor is the dust settled necessarily to even give you the most accurate with the injuries, and we got to account for everything, who's playing, all that. I don't know. Is Baltimore out there? Baltimore's a good defense. Did someone drop Philly because they had a bad matchup and so they got cut? I have no idea on those. You got to give me that information. Hendy, Ramondre, Sampson, Ollie, Marv, or Lamb, Marv, Buka, Rice, 101 trades to make. JT, wait on Hendy. Don't sell him low. Ramondre, Sampson, Ollie. You're kind of hurting at RB. So I am looking at potentially maybe trying to move Rice instead of waiting on him for that Chase Brown or player like Hampton. Do that before the game. Using Rice in something, using Rice in Ramondre's big game. Using Sampson, using Lamb to go down to, I don't know. Trading Lamb is tough, but trading Lamb down to, let's call it, Kyren and BTJ might be worth the gamble. Do I think you can win with this team? I think you could, but you need a few things to happen, which is why that Lamb, BTJ, Kyren move, or Lamb for Chase Brown and BTJ for Lamb, that move is worth a look. But the thing is, you got Lamb, Buka. If you're 3-3, you're 1-1 now. If you're 3-3 walking into the return of Rice, you've got a top 5 to 7 wide receiver in Rice. You've got a top 5 wide receiver in Lamb, if not top 3. And you've got a Buka who, at that point, still might be playing the way we think he can play. I mean, you're really set up nicely, bro. You got JT, you got Nix. If Hendy gets on his horse at the right time, it's to the promised land, and you didn't even need to downgrade Lamb. So my advice at 101 would be to wait another week. I would entertain that type of deal. Entertain it. Bring it to us. Maybe when the dust settles, we feel differently about that kind of deal. But I wouldn't pull any trigger yet. Just kind of wait. But maybe line that up and come back to us if you wanted to consider a trade. But honestly, I believe, James Devlin, please read my James, I'll try, bro, but you gotta include it in your super chat. That's what the point of that is. Trade BTJ or hold. Trade Chase or hold. I'm not trading BTJ on the low. I would trade Jamar Chase on, I don't want to say, you can't trade him low, but would I trade him for the right price? Sure, but it just depends, man. There's so many different avenues and ways to look at that. Like, if you could give me Kyren and BTJ for Jamar Chase and you can't win with Jamar Chase, then you got to entertain a risk. There's so many things that are involved in this. So I can't really tell you right now in general to hold Chase or to sell him. It depends on your situation. Up by 4, have Ibuka, Genti, and they have Bowers, Bucky. This is what we live for. Exactly. This is the adrenaline rush of tonight and your situation's why you played the game. Don't run from it. I'm so tired of this. I don't know what generation of people that this mentality is of, if I'm not up 150 and have a nice warm plate of meatloaf with a charged Game Boy or new batteries in my Game Boy, I don't know that I want to play fantasy football anymore. Jamar Chase for BTJ, Rice, and Harvey. I would probably say, honestly, Matt, you might call me crazy, but if you need something, this is the kind of trade that you live and die by. Okay, you trade Jamar Chase with no Joe Burrow for BTJ, Rice, and Harvey. This might sink you for 2-3 weeks. It really could. You might, by the time Harvey gets on his horse, by the time Rice comes back, if BTJ gets back right away, then you're fine. If he doesn't, then you start off 1-5 and you're done. But if you can't win with Jamar Chase, this is a deal that maybe you live and die by. It's not a bad trade on either side. You could sit here and go, oh, Jamar Chase will be fine. Will he? Probably. But will he be Jamar Chase? Jamar Chase? No, probably not. Will he be Jamar Chase? Top 5, 6? Yeah. Could BTJ still be top 8? Yes. Might he not be? Yes. We don't know. Is Rice a top 5, 6 wide receiver when he comes back? Yes. Will you still have playoff hopes when Rice gets back? I don't know. You're 1-1 right now. This is not a bad offer. It's not a bad offer on either side, and it's kind of why you play the game. You're kind of gonna have to make a gut call there. I think it's a trade worth taking if you're a gambling type of person. Smith, QB pick off the waiver wire. I don't know. No, not right now, bro. No. trade Fannin for A.O. Manor. I would say I'd rather have Fannin by a hair. But I don't hate the trade. It's very even, but that's just my lean. Down 68 with Baker, Evans, Bowers, and Buka and kicker. W. I'd say if he's got nobody, yeah, I'd say you probably win this, my guy. What's the percentage? I'm sure the percentage has you winning by at least a little bit, I imagine. Alec, appreciate you. 12-man PPR. Any moves? Dak, Achan, Genty, Hendy, Marv, T-Mac, Warren, Pearsall, J-Mo, Fannin, Ollie, Ingram, Thornton. I suppose this team needs something, maybe. But honestly, bro, like, what are you going to trade Marv for right now? T-Mac is a T-Mac for BTJ, take a gamble. That would be my advice, Alec. Take a gamble, bro. I don't think that's that crazy of a gamble. People might be fickle on BTJ right now. That's fine. I understand why, but I'm not. I mean, not at the new cost of entry. It's a new cost of entry, bro. You walk out of the room, take a deep breath, open the door. There's something new sitting in front of you. And that is a BTJ that is nowhere near the value he had on draft day. That's a different BTJ. God, James, you are just too much sometimes, bro. T-Law, Stafford, Stroud, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, and Ward. I guess give me Chad. What quarterback do you like for James Devlin? Let's help him let's go. Cam Ward is I think safe. He's not exactly exciting right now, but I think he does get better. But Tua's probably got the highest upside, but most risk of dropping you a 0 or getting injured or having a 30-point game. It's certainly possible. Geno, probably steady. Stroud, high risk, high reward. James, why don't you wait on Stroud, see what Stroud does? Stafford's probably the overall best combo of safety risk, limited upside, but still upside enough. So I'd probably say right now, Stafford, watch Stroud tonight. Put in a claim for all of them in that order, though. So Stafford, probably, Geno ain't bad, but I'd say Stafford. Healing says starting Tootin over Hendy for now. I think we got to wait for the week to progress. Probably for right now. Goff or May, probably Goff after a monster 5 TD performance. But keep in mind, Goff can rotate that a little bit. But that offense looked like it was finally back and humming quicker than expected, to be honest. The loss of Ben Johnson was hit hard week 1 and week 2 against Ben Johnson. They said, we'll put it all together, Ben. Look at us. We knew a revenge game was coming for Amon-Ra. Drake May looks pretty solid. Might be a good fill-in for Burrow. If you've got him, if he's available, that's why he's on the waiver wire. I don't know if James Devlin, if May's there, but I showed this to Devlin and he didn't put May on his list, so I assume May is not available for him. Herbert, Baker, King Henry, Kyron, Evans, Tet, Kraft, Walker, bench. Hard to say right now on the moves, bro. Right now, I'm going to say stand down unless you're trading Tet for BTJ, which is my current recommendation. Walker for BTJ if you want to go in that direction. Without Charbonnet, I think it's not a bad move. It's a high upside play. Is there risk involved? Absolutely. But is it worth the risk? Absolutely. Is there risk? Yes. That's why it's a risky move. But Jamar Chase for Chase Brown in London, I'd take Chase Brown in London. I definitely would take that. That's the kind of move I'm making, Matt. That's a great move. Kenneth Walker for MHJ, probably not. I like MHJ. I don't know what to think right now, bro. People panicked about Kyler and the situation probably had more of a case than we gave him credit for. 2-0 in my 10-man PPR. Dak, Penix, Genty, Achan, Bucky, JCM. Go after BTJ instead. Make moves, stand down. Probably say with this squad, great running backs, bro. Great running backs. JCM, yeah, stand down. Your team looks fantastic, bro. Fantastic. You got so much depth. I'm not moving anything. Unless I'm upgrading using JCM or using Hunter or using Rice for somebody that wants to wait on him to get Dak into a top 4 quarterback. That's it. That's the only move to make. That's the only move to make, my boy. Your team looks fantastic, bro. What are we doing here, Mike? Sutton and Dobbins for Genty half point. Does it matter if it's half point? Does it matter if it's 3 points, 0 points? How about negative 1 point per reception? Does it matter? I mean, Genty by a country mile. Mike, what are we doing here? Let's see here. Trade May plus Jets? Do you mean Jettas, bro? I assume you mean Jettas. I don't know. May plus JJ, I'm assuming. For Lamb, I'd take Lamb. Someone wants to know if I have any picks tonight. Absolutely. So there's a few of them that I could throw up on the screen here that I like. But I think the number one would be the two that I love the most. Let's see if I can throw these up on screen. All right, I'll throw these up here. My neighbors for Ibuka and Kyron. JSN for BTJ. Why would you trade JSN right now for BTJ? Absolutely not. JSN's a baller. If BTJ's in turmoil, you buy him low. That's buying him high. That's buying him at higher than his previous value almost in a way. Neighbors for Ibuka and Kyron's close and arguable. It really is. My advice would be to hover over the button, get him to offer that to you. However you got to word it to him. Hey, send it. I'm busy. Whatever. Send it. He sends it to you. You hover over it. If Ibuka has 3 TDs tonight, you punch the button. If he doesn't and he plays a mediocre, I'm Clark Kent, not Superman game, then you know your answer. But Neighbors is, I think it's fair to if we're going to let Neighbors play his second game, you do have to let Ibuka play his second game before you make this. Oh, it's obviously Neighbors. You got to see Ibuka play. If Ibuka doesn't drop 2 or 3 TDs, and he could have another 2 touchdown game, and then this trade is a very viable trade. It's got to be fair and let him play his second game, but have the person send it on over. Red Rover style. These are my picks of the week, or for the game rather. Buka 53.5 receiving yards higher. That seems like a smash on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. If you guys want to tail these, please play $5, get 50 by using code Smitty. Please hit this link right here. I'll pin the link in the live chat. The link's in the description of the video. Code Smitty gets it done as well. So hit this right here. Boom. Smash that. Underdog. Well, again, play 5, get 50. They'll also put a bonus pick in your account if you use the code Smitty. But higher 53.5 on Egbuka. Also like this one right here. Genty higher 68.5 rushing yards. I like combining these two. I usually like to spread them out over other games. Whenever you force yourself to do something all in one game, you end up pushing the envelope on something. But 872 of you in here from YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Please subscribe if you're new. We're almost at 36.1K. We're growing like about 100 people a day, maybe 200. And that's awesome. And it all is because of you. I work for you. I'm here whenever big news breaks. I'm here Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm here at midnight Eastern almost every single night for you guys. I work for you. Lab McConkey, I like this one. It's kind of a unique one. 2.5 receptions in the first half. I think that's probably a pretty doable number. So that would be tonight's on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. Actually, let me get over on this screen here to promote that. Here we go. Let's go back over here. Promotion. Boom. Krosky Merit. This would be for next week. We're hitting the Krosky Merit higher. Buka, Genty, Lab McConkey. These would be my Underdog code Smitty. Link pinned in the live chat. Picks of the game. Trade Lamb for Kyron. What is this? Lamb for Kyron and Ladd and Tracy. Tracy doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say keep Lamb, but you're on the right track. I think that Ladd and Kyron's, close, but let's see what Ladd does tonight. Lost Burrow, need a QB, have PPR waiver available. Goff, Love, May, Daniel Jones the rest of the season. I'm going to probably say Goff, then Love, then May in that exact order. Very close call, bro. Very close call. Drew, appreciate you. Daniels, Egbuka, Neighbors, T. Higgins, CMC, Henry, McBride on the bench, McLaurin, Wandell, Walker, Monty, Judkins, Kraft moves. Probably going to say you stand down, bro. The team is pretty solid. I'm still in the business of looking at what Christian McCaffrey can get me because it doesn't matter if he plays like a monster for 5 more games. I do think that eventually he's going to break. But it depends what you can get. You can get the world. I had people in my comments yesterday saying, hey, Smitty, I can't believe you're telling people to trade CMC. He's going nuts. We knew he could go nuts. He could go nuts for another 4 games. Smitty, you told me to trade CMC for a pile of trash. I did not. I told you to get the world, and you can still get the world. We're 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in. You think Christian McCaffrey's safe because he's played 2 games? I still consider strongly trading him. Strongly. And I don't waver from that. Even 2 weeks from now. He could have another great game in week 3. This is a man that has bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis, and they're running him into the ground. I don't know what more clear formula there is for an injury. Traded Lamar, Chuba, JCM for JSN and Henry. That's tough because of Lamar, bro. Traded Lamar, Chuba, and JCM for JSN and Henry. I mean, I in a vacuum, I like it, but I don't know what it does to your quarterback room, and I assume that's 1 QB. Yeah, that's tough. CMC, Henry, and Neighbors. I mean, if you could trade CMC for Henry, and I don't know if you're asking me to rank that or what you're doing there, bro. CMC, Bucky and Genty versus Hampton down 25. Bucky and Genty, you should be able to get that, bro. I mean, you cook. Come on, Logan. Are you cooked? What? Have fun with it, Logan. Have fun with it. Why are you worried about? Why are you using terms like "Are you cooked"? Why don't you be like, "Look what I get to enjoy, guys, tonight." You should be excited, Logan. We're jealous of you. I'm jealous of you. People are jealous of you because you get to watch a good game, and instead you're worried and panicked like Peter. Bucky and Genty versus Hampton down 25. Am I cooked? Logan, you should be like, "Look what I get to deal with tonight. Look how much fun I get to have." Logan, remember you're doing this for this exact reason. It's why you played. Head to head tonight, should I start Hampton or Genty? I mean, look, it's a tough one. I mean, Genty, probably Genty, but Hampton might be safer. I think he's safer, but Genty's got way more upside. Way more upside. It's crazy, man. That's why we play the game. Prince, head to head, you're gonna win anyway. You're gonna win anyway. Throw Genty in then. Throw Genty and let him roll, bro. Why did you tell people to get Ollie Gordon over Judkins last week? I didn't. Will, you're lying through your teeth because we have a waiver board to prove it. Nice try though. Keep throwing out lies and I'll just block you from the live stream. How's that? Will. Trading Worthy for Judkins ridiculous? No, not at all. Outside of HN, I want no part of the Dolphins. Don't blame you, Jesse. At all. Young, appreciate you. Traded Lamar and Chuba for JCM. Or Lamar and Chuba and JCM for JSN and Henry. Again, I think I just answered that one. That is crazy. I don't know. QB on waivers, Bo Nix. So Nix, I guess I would say I'd rather have JSN and Henry and Jordan Love. That's crazy, man. Who wins T and Gibbs or Henry London? Probably Henry London, but that's tough, bro. That's real tough. I know people in week 2, bro. It's crazy. Some people just aren't built to play fantasy football, I think, sometimes. You know? Yeah, Lupo and the other person, stop, or you're just going to get blocked. Like, stop talking to each other. Period. I'm going to have Travis put you in 24-hour timeouts the next time you guys speak to each other because you don't stop. A.J. Brown and Keon versus MHJ and Monty. A.J. Brown and Keon for MHJ and Monty. I don't know. Who wins? Neither of you. Both of you just sit there and destroy both your teams with this trade. I don't know. There's no good side to this. I suppose I lean toward the MHJ side slightly just because I feel like there's a little bit better shot. I wanted nothing to do with A.J. Brown. Rare says Smitty doesn't like Knicks now. That's another lie. You guys keep throwing lies out. We'll just put you in timeout. It's fine. There you go. Enjoy. Do you think BTJ's injury is concerning? No, because the way, you never know, but the way Cohen said it makes me feel like, it was like he walked in with a risk concern, and that's why he kind of got held back. Down 80 with Ibuka, Ladd, and Genty left. Ibuka, Ladd, Genty. Can my team get a pep talk, Smitty? I think your team has this, Alan. Just let it ride, bro, and enjoy the show. Go get your popcorn. Your team doesn't need a pep talk. Your team needs a confident owner. So if you're going to be be confident. Don't have doubt. Get your popcorn. Eat it with confidence and watch the game and enjoy. This is why you play. 0-2, I have T, Parasol, Pickens, Hunter, then Henry, K9, and ETN at running back. Who should I trade? I told people this, it's not what people want to hear. But I'm trading T for BTJ. I'm trading Pickens for BTJ. I'm trading K9 without Walker. Without Charbonnet for BTJ if you want to take a gamble. And other than that, unless you're getting Ladd right now for Walker or you're trading T. Higgins right now for Ladd before the game because I think he has a good day, those are moves I make. I trade Parasol and T. Higgins for BTJ straight up right now. I'm taking a gamble on BTJ. Plain and simple. PPR, Javonte or Olave for Rice and Warren. That's a tough one. If you could weather through and you need that top 5 to 7 wide receiver later, then Rice is a nice gamble. But, Javonte probably is a safer move, especially if you need the W's now. Why am I banning my audience for pointing out things? I'm not banning my audience for pointing out things, Johnny. I don't ban. Am I banning you for pointing out this that's not even true? No. I am blocking people that are in here that are trying to stir up the audience and trying to say lies and make up stuff. Johnny, that's what I'm doing. When people come in here and they start saying things that aren't true to try and rile people up. Hey, Smitty said this, and you try and make up stuff, you're going to get blocked. No one needs that in the live chat. No one wants it. So that's what's happening. I don't block people. I've opened phone lines. I have communication and arguments and discussion with more people than any fantasy show you can find. Scary Terry or DJ Moore rest of season. I'm going Scary Terry, baby. I still feel like there's a lot of upside there, but obviously concerning with JD5 right now. There's still a chance he plays this week. Moves to make 12-team field: Swift, Jalen Warren, Lamb, Collins, Pearsall, Jawan Johnson, McMillan, bench, Love, Adunze, Harvey, Aaron Jones. Yeah, and for anybody saying, why are you banning your audience? I'm not banning my audience. Anybody that's in here pretending like I said something that I didn't is not my audience, bro. Those are trolls and haters, and they're going to be gone. So if you think that's my audience, it's not my audience. You think I care about someone's going to come in here and just, let me see if I can cause some trouble. That's not somebody I need watching me. I don't care about that. You think I want that person here? Think anybody wants someone in the chat that's just going to spew lies and try and stir stuff up, drum stuff up? No. Moves to make with his team, I'd probably say, man, I don't know. There's not a lot, no offense. There's not a lot to trade right now. You got to let Nico play. So it's hard to really advise you when your team's still playing, bro. Tet McMillan for BTJ. That's a common, nice, high-risk, high-reward play, but it is high-risk. I've seen people trade Swift for BTJ. I've seen people trade Swift for Hendy. So if you can get Hendy using Swift, I do that in a second. Is Jalen Warren worth trading for BTJ or Hendy? I would say so if you're wanting to take a gamble. Should I trade Chase Brown for Garrett Wilson or Adams? I would rather have Chase Brown. I'm not running away from Chase Brown after 1 week. I know it's problematic. Mike says I used to ban him for his all the time for his Bears takes. That's actually a lie. Mike, saying that is you got blocked or put in timeout because you wouldn't stop with negativity. It had nothing to do with you having a Bears take. Joe says thoughts on Fields rest of season. May is my backup. I think May's your starter right now. I don't know. I think you got to let the dust settle on Fields too. I'd rather have May in there. May's just a little bit safer for the time being. But I still think Fields can be a top 10 to 12 QB. Jay Will says I told him to start Amon-Ra St. Brown. He owes me his life. Need a QB. What should I do? QB Stroud, Lawrence, running back. Brown, Genty, Benson, Gordon, T. Higgins, Debo, Ibuka, Sutton, Kirk, McBride. You could use Sutton to try and get a quarterback. I don't know, man. Stroud's a rough quarterback. Let's see how he plays, but, Mahomes is probably the cheapest quarterback to go get in a trade right now, but with Burrow getting taken out, Mahomes just gets vaulted up a little bit more. People are a little bit more coveting the quarterbacks, like saying, damn, everybody's in turmoil. I feel pretty lucky to have Mahomes with no wide receivers still doing what Mahomes is doing right now. But Mahomes is the guy you're trying to get. Other quarterbacks, bro, hard to say. If you're to trade, like Dak is pretty reasonably available. Knicks is still available in a trade, so if you can use T. Higgins to get one of those guys, I'm for it. I'm okay with that. Past that, I don't know how you're going to trade for a quarterback unless you do some sort of, you're going to have to tell me like what teams have two quarterbacks and like what you might be able to do in a trade. JD5, trading for JD5 injured right now might not be the worst idea if you want to take a little bit of a gamble. At worst, he missed one game. Can you be a mod? Can you be a mod, James? Lord help us. Can you imagine? Down 85, have Baker, Nico, Bucky, and Ibuka, and he has McCarthy. Let's go. See, this is what I'm talking about. Andre's excited about the challenge. Down 85, he has Baker, Nico, Bucky, and Ibuka. He's got McCarthy. It's going to be a close race. Andre, what's the projection percentage of likelihood of winning, say? How it gives you that confidence percentage. Yeah, I made James Devlin the head mod over Travis. Travis, you report to James moving forward. Can you imagine? We should have tricked Travis. Like, Travis isn't here. We noticed he wasn't here for a show. We're like, guys, we're gonna pretend to move James Devlin to head mod and tell Travis on the live stream that he reports to James. Lupo, you've already been warned not to talk to that individual anymore. And you guys are both going to be in timeout. If you're not, I'll give you one more chance unless you've already got hit with the timeout. Stop talking to each other. It's a toxic relationship, you two. In my opinion, Tootin league winner. Absolutely. Scat looks like really good. Both of them are total league winners. Scat and Tootin, absolute league winning. And honestly, going back to this board here, Scat most certainly is in the mix here for being the most likely league winner at this moment in time of players you could find on waivers. Let me throw Scat in here. These guys still remain. Tootin's still right there. Scataboo's just got so much upside. He looks fantastic. He looks aggressive. He looks like he's just ready to barrel over everyone. So these are the top running back preemptive league-winning players to get on waivers or trade or, get them thrown into a trade, whatever the case may be. Benson's still in the mix. He's awaiting an injury, though, where Scat could take the job now. Tootin's probably awaiting an injury as well, although he can be very productive. So Scat's the one guy that could take the job. Could literally just take the job. Can you imagine Travis? Travis, see what James needs. Love this channel so much. Thank you, Fire. Appreciate you. BBQ, thank you. And BBQ's $20 hauler, by the way, I didn't hit the button for. BBQ, thank you for the $20 wattage, my boy.
Alert. Super chat alert.
James, you need a coffee? Our head moderator, Harvey Hendy, will ball out patience. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jags looked like the Commanders on Thursday. Balls. Commanders need to bounce back as well. Scat looks like the real deal. Get Coker in IR slot. Buka and Tet like neighbors in BTJ 2024. Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. King, thank you for your $5 hauler. 10-man PPR, CD, London, Igbuka. Travis, you can call in. Travis and James, no, I'm just kidding. Not James. Travis, you can call in if you wanted. I think someone mentioned something about that. I read it somewhere. I forget. CD, London, Igbuka, running back Bucky, Hampton, Baker, Pitts, Fannin, Bench, T-Mac, JCM, Quinshawn Judkins. Any moves? Your wide receivers, your running backs, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say waiting on this team unless you're moving T-Mac, who you're not using right now. T-Mac and, God, who do you even trade for? With Jamar Chase and JJ now, you can't even say that anymore. Oh, try and upgrade London using Tet. Maybe you're trading JCM or Tet for BTJ if you want to take a gamble. Now, if someone wants T-Mac over BTJ, I don't mind it. I understand what time it is for you. But I'm just saying BTJ to me is still solid. Very solid. I have not laughed this hard in a while. James, so funny. James is not trying to be funny. James is just trying to elevate his mod game. I have 45% chance to win. Don't care. I'm getting the dub, says Andre. Baker, 3 TDs, 1 to Igbuka. At least 1 to Igbuka. Bucky rushing TD. Nico gets a Hundy and a TD. Let's go. That's right, my boy. I think your team's going to be pretty solid. And even if it didn't, you got a good squad, bro. Keep the faith all year long. Chase Edmonds. Andrew Luck should return. Ziggy, Volume 10. Ziggy, how old is Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck is 36 years old and was born on September 12, 1989.
I mean, you know. Ziggy, how old is Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers is 41 years old and was born on December 2nd, 1983.
I mean, it's a 5-year difference. Luck is 5 years younger than Aaron Rodgers. Ziggy, how old is Geno Smith?
Geno Smith is 34 years old and was born on October 10th, 1990.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Andrew Luck's a year older than Geno Smith. Ziggy, how old is Kirk Cousins?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Yeah, no one is. He's that old. Okay, try it again, Ziggy. Dig deep. Ziggy, how old is Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins is 37 years old. 1988.
Older than Andrew Luck. All right. Anyway, I'm kidding about Luck, but I'm not. You know, like I wish Luck didn't retire so early. But just kind of wild when you think about it. All right, guys, I appreciate you all. I'll be back. We got 849 YouTube viewers. Please hit the subscribe button on the way out the door. Thank you to all my super chatters. Celebratory messages. Craziness in here says Miracle. Appreciate you. Got offered Chase Brown for BTJ. I'd rather have Chase Brown right now. And then got Hampton Igbuka. You're down 11. Opponent has Herbert. Okay, well, this is why you play. You got this, bro. Thank you all for your super chats, your gifted memberships, all the support and supers. Thank you. BBQ, thank you for all the super chats. I'll see you all 8 p.m. or sooner. And don't forget to get on over to the 24/7 live Patreon live chat group. And that is right here. The link I'm dropping right there. $10 a month, cancel anytime. Our live chat Patreon is fantastic. It's amazing. It's 24/7, 365, price of a cup of coffee, just nonstop advice. And don't forget to get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. That's my year-round rankings, bold predictions, trade calculators, waiver wire advice, etc., etc. Do it live. See you all at 8 p.m. Vaughn, dropping gifted memberships on the way out the door like a monster. Andre dropping wattage on the way out the door. Andre, appreciate you, young man.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Appreciate you dropping the 10 gifted memberships on the way out the door. And then I think BBQ dropped one more super chat. He said, thank you, Smitty. Sorry you lost your mod job week 2, Travis. Yeah. Everyone's freaking out. We freaked out and gave Devlin a bump. we panicked. Might have been an overreaction. I think we overreacted to week 2. Brunson, thank you for the dollar holler, my boy. Appreciate you. No, actually, when Travis interviewed Devlin, he showed me his resume, and I was floored. It was all in caps. Devlin was yelling at us in his interview. His resume was all capital letters. Travis, it stood out to Travis. Travis was like, look at this. It was such an intriguing way to apply for a job. Travis had never seen it before. He's like, this stood out. Stuck out like a sore thumb. All caps. All right, see you all 8 p.m.